I recently took part in one of the largest tournaments in Minecraft Bedrock Edition history. With several other amazing players and a well put together tournament, I was one of 4 creators to walk away with a cash prize. But what exactly led to me finishing second? And why exactly did I play so well? Interested? Let's get started. Since I'm an influencer rank, it meant I was informed that this tournament was taking place over a week beforehand, and as well as this was confirmed a spot in the tournament. With this early knowledge, I was lucky enough to start getting in some early practice, and I put in a lot of practice. We only got to know the basics however, such as who out of the other influencers were taking part, the cash prizes, and what games the tournament would be on. But with this in mind, I started practicing the respective game modes, and as well as this got in contact with some of the best players for each game mode. In case you weren't keeping up with my perspective during the tournament, my game plan for the whole thing was to book my place in the final through points. With the knowledge that there were several other good players taking part, and that the 7 players with the most points would also qualify to the final, meant I had my game plan set. Chronos would be the first game we played. This would include all 32 players, and the way to get points here would be through kills or placing in the top 8. And then finishing first would automatically qualify you for the final game. Earlier when I said I got in contact with some of the best players for each game mode, for Chronos it would be Link Legion. During the build up to this tournament, I talked to him about the best possible kit I could use, and as well as this he showed me his best loot routes. In the end I didn't end up using his routes since I figured out my own, but I did end up using the kit we discussed, being Armor Specialist. This kit guaranteed me a piece of armor in every unlooted chest, based around the chest tier. For the first game of Chronos, my dropping route guaranteed that I was the only person to drop there, meaning I got all the chests, and due to Armor Specialist and luck, was nearly maxed out in loot at the start of the game. During this game, I would end up killing most people I faced against, and due to all the good players taking part, I was nervous that I wasn't going to do well in this tournament, up until I started winning fights against those I feared. In this Chronos game, I was getting several points from kills, and I was looking like one of the few people to walk out of this game with a win, and if not a win, then several points from kills and placement. This was up until the game crashed and all the points were classed as null, but this wouldn't be the only time I lost a game which I looked to win to something out of my control. If I'm dead honest, while live, after this game crashing, I felt quite annoyed. This was mostly due to me playing so well, and because I was 100% looking to do very well in that game. However, sadly, I had to live with it and just go next. And that's exactly what I did. Going into the next Chronos game, however, although I used the same route and game plan, I didn't play nearly as well as I did in that first game. I went from time leader by a mile in the first game to being left with 0 time on about 5 different occasions in the second game. I did however place decently well in this game, finishing 4th and getting 15 kills, which put me on 25 points going into the games to come. However, knowing I had 13 kills in the previous game with 18 people remaining didn't sit very right with me. But sadly, I just had to live with it, and with 25 points putting me in second on overall points, it meant I was looking to guarantee a spot in the final. Out of the 3 game modes we would play in this tournament, Rush was 100% the one I was least confident in. I didn't talk to anyone to find out how to be good at this because there was no set way, and in the build up to the tournament, I was constantly getting rolled by J-Burrow. However, due to the mindset I had going into this tournament, which was to play for points, it led me to do very well in Rush. There were 3 games of Rush, and the only way to get points here would be completely down to placement in games, not kills. And due to this, I made sure not to rush middle and to play the outskirts. I still got plenty of kills in the games, however, I didn't want to be killed off early. Therefore, since I was doing this strategy, I ended up finishing the rush section of the tournament with 21 points, due to the fact I placed 1st, 3rd, and 2nd in the 3 games we played. This also qualified me into the final game of Rush, which if I went on to win, I would have got an automatic placement in the finals. However, since this game had some of the best Rush players, including 2 other players from the group I was in, my game plan was to try and win, but wasn't my main objective since I'd already guaranteed a placement in the finals, since I knew I would do well in hyper races. Due to this, I finished 3rd with a failed clean, and DZ would go on to win this game by beating Taria. Hyper Racers would be the final game we played in this tournament, before the final 10 best players would be put into an overall Chronos game. Referring to earlier when I mentioned how I contacted some of the best players for each game mode, for Hyper Racers, it would be Philip Jeff. During the build up to this tournament, I talked to him about the timings of each boost pad change and even studied his uploaded world record speedruns on YouTube. He told me to use metronome to time the boost pad changes every 3 seconds, and the speedruns on YouTube would lead to some very good outcomes during the races. For the first race, I would end up finishing second. However, in the end, it didn't really matter since the points for this race didn't register and we voted not to rerun it. For the other 2 races that did count, I ended up finishing third due to getting hit by a bulldozer which didn't actually hit me. And then I ended up finishing first by nearly 10 seconds due to copying the exact route of one of Philip Jeff's speedruns. Due to such good placements here, this would guarantee me to be first overall on the points leaderboard, and would also guarantee me a place in the final, which is all I wanted. I did also have a chance to ruin other people's days since I did also qualify to the Hyper Racers final, where the winner of that would automatically qualify to the final, like Rush. However, I didn't take this very seriously as I'd already booked my place, and therefore ended up finishing 5th. But all was well since I now had a shot to win a cash prize. This would be one of the most intense Minecraft games I would ever play in my life, and all I had to do was place in the top 3 out of 10 players to be rewarded for it. Being the guy I am, and knowing there were less players, so less chests, I decided to keep the same perk and take the exact same route. My plan was to take fights I could win, and the only 2 players I needed to avoid was Taria due to his high ping reach and him being a good player, and then Emotionless for also being a good player. Yes, the other players were scary, they were in a final, but these 2 were the ones I was most scared of. Slowly during the final game, players would be eliminated one after the other, with myself even causing a few eliminations. This was until we got to the final 4 where it became very intense. During a fight to eliminate Kings, Emotionless would ignore Kings and kill me, but then would end up killing Kings to guarantee Emotionless, Taria and I top 3. Shortly after this, Taria would then eliminate Emotionless to make it a 1v1, where I was looking like the stronger player to win. That was until this happened. Oh my god! Okay, Yep, that is the reason I came second instead of first in the biggest block game tournament of my life. And no, before you get the wrong idea, Taria wasn't cheating. I'll put his perspective on the screen now to confirm he was legit. However, due to his high ping, it left me in a situation where I stood no chance of winning. And like earlier, it would mean I lost the game which I looked to win, to something out of my control. So yes, this is what led me to win $500 by playing in a 3-hour long tournament, and why exactly I played so well. And although I didn't end up playing first, I am still very happy for Taria who came first, and then Emotionless and Potato Pie 25 for also getting cash prizes. And overall, I am very proud of myself for placing second in a tournament I was only hoping to get top 8 in, and in the process proving myself wrong when I believed I wasn't as good as the other players. Thank you all for watching, stay safe and bye.